Hello, everybody. How are you guys? The Ohio State Buckeyes. Of course, Ohio State is in Columbus, Ohio, which is the map we're looking at here. And they've had some of the best football players in college football over the years. I thought I'd give you a quick snapshot of a few that actually came from Columbus. We were working on another project with this map, and I said, who's from that town is such and such player. So let's give you three, four, five, however many I can remember off the top of my head. So in 1920, one of the best football place kickers of all time, Jimmy the Toe Kowalski from Gahanna. Now, Gahanna is on the east side. This is the downtown here in your lower left of your screen. And then Gahanna, of course, just north of Whitehall on the east side. Now, he played for Gahanna High School all 4 years, breaking records every year, including his own, and then was recruited by the Buckeyes in 1920 and played for them. Unfortunately, he didn't graduate. He had to join his father in the shoe store that they run there, or ran at that time, because his older brother, who was tapped to kind of take over the shoe store, had a little accident, and an accident on a bicycle, believe it or not, and was unable to take over the leadership of the store, so he had to go home and take over the family business. But up to that time, he was one of the best place kickers, not only for the Buckeyes, but was recognized around the league. Okay, let's skip over to the other side of town in Hilliard. Now, Hilliard is a really booming area of the west side. The home building and new retail and entertainment options are just booming out here. And what was also booming in 1952 was Sammy the Deke. Now, Sammy the Deke was great at the old head fake and could deke around defenders all day. Now, deke is not a word you hear as much anymore. You hear the zigs, the zags, but deking just means cutting in and out real quick of through the defenders, finding holes. And this guy was so good that there was a section of the Ohio State University stands that they called them Deke's Freaks. The Deke's Freaks. They just, and again, this is back in the old days of college football where everybody was kind of a nut anyway, wearing coonskin caps and, fur. They'd wear fur coats to games. But I guess in Columbus, that is not totally inadvisable depending on the time of the year. So that's another really famous player. Now down here on the south side of town, there's the Great Southern Shopping Center. People are familiar with it if you're from Columbus. And right near there, see those where you have these businesses there. Before this was all here, this area right here where it says Scioto Community, this area right here was the home of Bobby Lampet. And Bobby Lampet, his nickname was the Duck because he had a duck lifestyle, duck hairstyle, and that's where they curl the part just above your collar. They would curl it, and he also was a running back, and he didn't have that speed of the Deke, but what he had was a weird way, and this is how his nickname kind of pertains to his football as well. He would sort of spin. He was a spinner. He could spin off of players. It was unbelievable. It looked like he was going to be tackled, but then he'd turn his back to them, and then they'd try to grab him. And for some reason, it was like he was covered with jelly or greased lightning or something. They couldn't hold on to him, and he'd just, like a duck's back, he'd spin right off of them. And he'd do this for 5, 10, 15, 20 yards. I mean, Ohio State has never been an aerial team, right? They've never been a throwing team for the most part. And he would just, the old saying, 3 yards in a cloud of dust is Ohio State's running style. Well, he would go 5, 10 yards in a cloud of dust just by spinning and bouncing off of defenders. It was just an amazing thing. And they actually tapped him to create a hit song or create a song about his running style. And it turned out to be a local hit in those days. And just kind of funny how this college football spirit is really kind of zany when you think about it and get right into it. So, guys, those are three of the biggest players to come out of the Columbus area, the Central Ohio area, that actually played for the Buckeyes, that came from the town that the Buckeyes is in. And as I get more of those, I'll think of more of those, and we'll do another video because there's a few of those Buckeye players that came from Columbus, came from Central Ohio, and they're all kind of characters. As you can imagine, coming from Ohio, there's really nothing else to do. You might as well be a character. All right, talk to you soon.